Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's the night. If you're watching this video late at night, well, tuck yourselves in the blankets. Otherwise, double check them doors. In fact, you gotta double check them doors even if you're watching at daytime, man. That's a good habit to get into. We're gonna be getting right into it. And I think you guys gonna be having a ball with this one. In fact, we're gonna have a ball with this one. Roll it.
Joe Rogan shares a wild story with Kurt Metzger about the late actor and comedian Jackie Gleason and President Nixon. According to Joe, a night of drinking between the two took an unexpected turn when Nixon allegedly gave Gleason a personal tour of a UFO wreckage site complete with frozen biological entities. It's a story so crazy, you have to hear it to believe it. This is a conversation from episode number 1903.
Jackie Gleason got drunk with Nixon, and Nixon's like, "You want to see a fucking flying saucer?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yes." And then they flew to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I believe was the rumor.
Right.
And they showed him, like, we have actually
they had freezers of them, right? They had them in
I don't know if
freezers?
that's real.
Yo, imagine finding aliens, extraterrestrial from like a different star system. Okay, I'm just saying imagine, not saying that's what happened, but imagine, right? You find them and you put them in a deep freezer. Bruh. Like they were a bunch of popsicles. Pause.
Real. I've never heard anybody say that they saw a body and have it be like 100% credible.
For context, Jackie Gleason was one of America's most beloved comedians and television stars. Nixon and Gleason first became friends over their shared love of golf. They would occasionally have informal meetings where they exchanged stories and engaged in light-hearted banter. However, this meeting would be unforgettable.
Entered a section, Nixon pointed out what he said was the wreckage of a flying saucer enclosed in several large cases. Next, we went to an inner chamber. There were 6 or 8 what looked like glass-topped Coke freezers. Inside them were the mangled remains of what I took to be children. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's the thing I remember from the story.
So I'm conflating this with something else.
6 to 8?
So that's right, they did have fucking supposedly dead frozen ones. The revelation of the U.S. Secretary holding the corpses of dead aliens shook Gleason to the core, and he couldn't eat or sleep for weeks. After being confronted by his wife Beverly, Gleason told her the truth about that night and swore her to secrecy. But Jackie and Beverly Gleason...
Man, if you want the rumors, if you want to spread rumors, if you want the information to leak out, you just gotta tell that info to one lady and bam, the entire village is gonna find out, okay? But listen, okay, in defense of my beautiful queens that are watching this video, man, sometimes men be doing dumb things too, so yeah, man, it kind of evens out.
Already in the process of separating. The final straw in the relationship would be Beverly breaking her vow and revealing the encounter to the magazine Esquire in 1974 as a teaser.
But thankfully they did. Thankfully they did. This is that type of information that we need more of.
For a book she was writing about a relationship with the tempestuous, hard-drinking Jackie.
This event had affected Gleason for the rest of his life, according to friends and family. They began to notice him drinking more. 12 years later...
Yeah, that's not a good sign though, right? Because, you know, the opposite argument would be like, well, he just drinks. He's a, you know, heavy drinker, so man is probably drunk, lying or something like that. But, and on the other hand, some people would view this, well, yeah, he's drunk and he's talking about them crazy aliens. Yeah, he's spitting the facts. Oh, shit. What he's saying is the truth and nothing but the truth. So there would be, you know, two sides for sure.
Gleason would finally break his silence. After a few drinks, he would begin to retell the story to Larry Warren, a UFO enthusiast.
I wonder what that article... So that article was this where this story first came out?
Yeah, I guess so. And stung and humiliated by the betrayal, Jackie stayed silent until 1986. Finally ready to talk, he invited Larry Warren, a flying saucer evangelist, author, and eyewitness to the Rendell Sam Forest UFO incident, to his New York home. After a few drinks, Gleason unloaded the whole unbelievable tale to an astonished Warren, who spread the story amongst his community. However,
there we go. Okay, men doing men things as well. There we go. There we go. That's your revenge. If any woman, any lady, any queen watching this, there you go. There you have it. That's your revenge as well. But nah, but it is true. It is true though. Like recently, it happened in my family where I won't reveal the details, but it's like basically a homeboy of mine sent a message to a lady, and then that information got to me because that lady spread the information to another lady, and another lady spread the information to my sister, and my sister told me. So, you want the whole village to find out? spread that. Just tell it to your wife, tell it to your girl, just tell it to a lady, okay? And it's gonna spread like a coronavirus, okay? It's gonna spread, I swear to God, man.
The story would end there. Gleason died a year later, having only told his ex-wife and Warren about the once-in-a-lifetime adventure with Nixon. The tale would spread like wildfire with the advent of the internet, confirming what UFO believers already knew. The government knows everything about aliens, but reveal it only to the privileged.
Up next, Travis Walton.
Man, like, this is crime against nature, crime against humanity. We demand answers! We demand answers! The taxpayers demand answers! Thank you so much to the homie Shab, and to the Queen AK for the 5, to the homie Shab for the 10, and to the homie Brian for the 2. You guys gotta do none of it, man. I appreciate all the love, the likes, the new subscribers, the tips and all that, but you guys gotta do none of it, man. Alright, let's get back to the content here, man.
From quantum AI communicating with the multiverse, electric cars being hacked, and even evidence of nuclear war in ancient Egypt. These are the most mind-blowing conspiracies on JRE. This brings us to the first clip where Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell delve into a fascinating and unsettling conspiracy theory that if a planet gets too intelligent and creates advanced technology such as AI and nukes, aliens will come down and destroy the planet or end the current civilization.
What?
This is a conversation from
But weren't they supposed to save us all? What
episode number 1953.
Imagine if we went to visit another planet. Like, let's imagine we develop space travel where it's repeatable and we could get to another planet in like 6 months, a year. We get to another planet. And so we start doing these 1-year journeys out into these new galaxies and we find a planet with a primitive version of human beings, like a human beings of just not even primitive, just not modern era, like a few hundred years ago, just a few hundred years ago. And then we come back a year later and they're overrun with machines and there's just a small pocket of humans left. They're just overrun with something that they created. That just took over and took off, and then we realized, like, oh my God, this can happen everywhere. And that's kind of a life form. We just don't think it's a life form because it doesn't have blood and cells. But it's
yeah, right. And what's to say? That's the thing, right? Like, if life exists on a different planet, I mean, it could be in any form. Bacterial life probably exists. That is probably a lot more common, but that is still life, you see. There might be another intelligent life that does not have blood. Now, while we were, and you were listening to that, I was like, because a thought popped up in my head, and I was like, let me Google, when is Elon Musk sending people to Mars? I swear to God, like, I thought it said 2025, but now I mean, or maybe they changed it, I don't know. Elon Musk aims to send an uncrewed spacecraft to Mars by the end of 2026. I heard it being 2025.
Let me
it's
add
a technological life form.
Then you come back another year. Now the planet is just a metallic ball that starts attacking you with weapons that you can't evade. So you barely escape. You get back to your planet, and because you have some kind of non-AI technology, you're like, we have got to wipe out every civilization that is even close to achieving this, because if they do, it's the Borg. So you do the scan.
Yeah, the Borg.
And what pops up on your futuristic display? Oh shit, there's this one. It's a third planet from that star there. They're just on the precipice of creating this thing. So let's go ahead and send our Tic Tacs over there, make sure it's happening. We don't want to destroy a planet if we don't have to. Oh yeah, it's happening. Get rid of that one.
Yeah, get rid of it.
That's why, that explains the Fermi paradox, is because anytime a planet is on the precipice of inventing machine intelligence. An invisible cosmic order.
This goes very well with, there's another theory, right? Whether you want to call it a conspiracy theory or not, but it also is a theory, and it's something that has been, you know, talked about in depth by a lot of, I guess, so-called scientists and high intelligent IQ people, that whenever a society becomes so advanced, it just resets as in extinction. Not 100%, but very close to it. Basically, mankind resets and we start over. And allegedly, or not even allegedly, but that's like the theory, right? That it has happened in the past several times over. In a lot of stories, basically it is in every culture that a flood has happened. That a flood happens, not necessarily aliens, but a flood happens and it wipes us all out. whenever we get super close to discovering something or getting to that level where we would be super advanced, and then somehow, some way, we get that reset. That's like literally in all the cultures. Doesn't mean it's true, doesn't mean it's gonna happen, and it also doesn't mean that it never happened. Perhaps it did happen, and maybe it's gonna happen again, or maybe it's not gonna happen again, right? So nobody can tell, but it's very, very fascinating, right? What they're talking about is that maybe once we get super close with the AI, and funny thing is that we made a video with AI, about AI recently, where a bunch of so-called AI scientists were saying that there's a 50% chance of extinction if AI goes rogue, and the chances of AI going rogue is, well, 50%. Oh, shit. I'll link you that video in the pinned comment.
That has already figured out that that's cancer, wipes them out.
Joe draws a parallel between Duncan's analogy and UFO folklore, which suggests that aliens began appearing when humans started using nuclear weapons. He references notable incidents such as the Mainstream Air Force Base event in 1967 in Montana, the Minot Air Force Base incident in 1968 in North Dakota, and the Los Alamos National Laboratory sightings in the 1940s in New Mexico. In all these cases, witnesses reported UFO sightings. Joe highlights the Mainstream Air Force Base incident, where 10 nuclear missiles were mysteriously deactivated during the UFO sightings. And to this day, there is no clear explanation for how or why it happened.
Yeah, we covered that in the last episode of this series, that mini series that we got going on. So the context is that bunch of military dudes, military men, that are protecting the country, protecting the server, they saw lights in the sky while they were at the nuclear base, and 10 of their missiles all at once just got shut down or stopped. Oh, shit. After seeing those so-called UFOs, the lights in the sky. And basically what they said, it is impossible. Maybe one, maybe two of them can get blocked, or perhaps malfunction or some sort of issue with it, right? But all 10 of them, after we have seen UFOs in the skies all at once, impossible. Why? Because all 10 of them were not linked to anyone. They were separate missiles, separate whatever you want to call it, separate devices, separate nuclear missiles, whatever, right? So 1, 2 can be faulty, okay, malfunction, whatever, but all 10 of them all at once after we've just witnessed UFOs in the sky, absolutely impossible is what they said. I'm paraphrasing. So yeah, that was also pretty fascinating.
Just
or stops it from happening and allow
or why it happened.
Just
or stops it from happening and allows them to smoothly transition to the next stage of existence, which they're already aware of, because their civilization's already gone through it. That's the UFO folklore when it comes to the bombs, right? That they started showing up, and that they disarmed nuclear missile sites. You know about that, right? There's reports from these head military guys that were on these missile sites where all their power shut down, everything shut down. There's this thing hovering over their military base that showed complete control out of all their power systems.
Yeah, shut it down. Well,
and then took off.
Now, the only way I can see this being fake news is if they were government plan and the government wanted them to lie about it. Because I don't think these military dudes they're not gonna let any guy that is oh my god, I'm seeing, I strong, independent, I gotta get my wife a BBL tomorrow. They're not gonna give anybody that's in the La La Land control of the missiles, the nuclear missiles, right? Bruh. So yeah, these dudes definitely gotta be up there with the IQ, and they are definitely intelligent dudes. I mean, they are protecting the servers, okay? So they would not lie about it. Or perhaps, like I said, the only way they would lie about it is if the government wants them to.
Came from another planet, and I wanted to let people know, hey, settle the down.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I would shut their missiles down, hover over their base for a little bit, and go, okay, any questions?
Right.
Don't nuke the planet, you dipshits.
Or you might be that nice planet. It's go and try to it's a garden planet. These poor humans. Or you might be the Varnasians who are yeah, we tried that, it didn't work, and we're just going to do a pole shift. We're going to actually make it so every On average, it takes about 11,000 years for that planet to get to the point where the dumb monkey descendants decide to make another machine intelligence to start doing nuclear bombs, which, because of quantum entanglement, cause disruptions in other planets that kill people. And also, oh, great, they were going to do the particle accelerator. So you just build into that planet. Let's just make it so like
the particle accelerator gotta be the I'm forgetting the name of it, but you know that round thing in Switzerland, I believe. Yeah, right, that's what it is.
We're going to do the particle accelerator. So you just build into that planet. Let's just make it so like 11,000 years or so, there's a pole shift that wipes out most life on the planet, and it just starts over. Maybe eventually we'll get a good batch.
Up next.
You know, it's fascinating, bro. Life in a nutshell is fascinating. The fact that I'm like talking and watching this, you're able to watch this and listen to me, and you're having your own thoughts, and you know, you're kind of like typing, you're responding to me internally, perhaps even in the comments, but you're responding to me internally, and you're listening to me, you're forming your own thoughts as well, and you're fascinated by this just as me, just as I am. Crazy. And the fact that life exists, and there are so many different possibilities, there are so many different ways that this planet could be wiped out in a fraction of a second, tomorrow, a week from now, years from now, decades, centuries, millennia from now. It's crazy. It is crazy. Pole shifting, AI, nuclear war, massive as meteor striking us, or it's just the possibilities are endless. But somehow, some way, it's going pretty decent, I guess. It's going pretty all right. I guess the Earth is still spinning.
Joe Rogan and John Reeves explore the mysteries of the universe, including black holes, the existence of aliens, and the possibility of interdimensional life. They also delve into the intriguing theory that the structure of the universe might be connected to the human brain, drawing parallels between cosmic patterns and neural networks. This is a conversation from episode number 2080.
Let me show you this.
First of all, in the center of every galaxy is a supermassive black hole that I think it's, what is it, 1/2% of the mass of the entire galaxy? It's in the, something along those lines. It's at every, so the larger the galaxy, the larger the supermassive black hole. And there's real speculation that if you went through that black hole, you reach another universe. With also hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. Each one of those galaxies has a supermassive black hole. You go through that, another universe. Hundreds of billions of galaxies, hundreds of billions of black holes. You go through them, hundreds of billions of galaxies, new universes everywhere. And then there's dimension. This is the real speculation when people start talking about UAPs and alien life, and there's two thoughts. One thought, well, there's more than two thoughts. One thought is that they are us from the future. Yeah. Another thought is they are us from their people, their things, their intelligent life forms, maybe even artificial intelligence, something that has been created from other galaxies that is physically transported here. And then the other thought is there's interdimensional travel, that there are beings from somewhere that are capable of visiting this dimension.
Oh, shit. Okay. And we are, our comprehension is with like 4 dimensions, right? Space, time, and there are 2 others that is not, of course, that's not going to come up in my mind right now while we're filming. But yeah, there are 4 dimensions. So what is in the 5th dimension, right? What is in the 6th one? I mean, those can, if that exists, I mean, scientists do believe that exists, those beings, if they are in those dimensions, they can see us, but we cannot, right? So yeah, that is also fascinating. Another thing is, there are countless amount of examples out there, but the one that is just super fascinating to me is this one, the human eye versus the galaxies. So there are galaxies that very much resemble the human eye, which you are looking at it right now, which is fascinating. And there are a bunch of other examples. There's a term for it as well. Some of you probably know about it, but yeah, there's so many examples like that too, which is just very fascinating, man. It's crazy, man.
That we exist in, but they exist in something, so they are here all the time. They're just here in a way that we have no ability to access them, but they can access us.
Yeah.
Joe reflects on the vastness of the universe.
It's like 6th dimension can access 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but 6th dimension cannot access the 7th dimension, just like a 7th dimension if it exists, I'm just like hypothetically speaking, this is what the scientists believe and all that. So 7th dimension cannot see 8, 8th dimension cannot see the 9th, but 9th dimension cannot see 10, but it can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, of course, because they're in the 9th dimension, right? So yeah, it's fascinating, man.
Suggesting that our understanding of it is so small, it might be comparable to less than a grain of sand or even a subatomic particle. He draws parallels between the structure of the known universe and neurons in the human brain.
Another one of those examples. So yeah, the human eye versus galaxies, neurons in the brain, galaxies in the universe, right? It's crazy. There, if you're gonna try and look for similarities with the human brains, eyes, like us, and if you're gonna go down to the neurons level and you're gonna compare that with the galaxies or the universe, you're gonna find a whole lot of similarities, man.
Speculating that our universe could be a single atom within a much larger organism, one that exists inside another infinitely expansive universe. This concept hints at a potentially infinite and interconnected cosmic structure.
Yeah, which is weird that like...
And the universe is alive too. You always heard that it's forever expanding. It's always is growing, just like you are growing, just like I'm growing, just like we're all growing, right? So it is also growing.
The universe is so big we can't even wrap our head around it, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is not even a good way to describe it. It's a grain of sand. Yep. Maybe it's not even a grain of sand. Maybe it's an atom. Maybe it's not even an atom. Maybe it's a subatomic particle. And maybe the whole thing is fractal. So maybe what we are and what this planet is. I mean, I'm sure you've seen when they look at... Have you ever seen a map of the known universe in comparison to a neuron in the human brain? See if you can find that. It's entirely possible that it's just constantly... If you constantly expand further and further out, that this entire universe is an atom. It's a part of a much larger organism that exists in another universe that is infinitely large, that is impossible for us to grasp our head around.
To wrap up the conversation,
yeah, man.
Joe reflects on the striking visual similarities between neural networks in the human brain and the cosmic web of galaxies, wondering if they are fundamentally connected. Take a look at this image showing the resemblance between human brain cells and the structure of galaxies. Rogan speculates that the universe itself could be a single brain cell within an infinitely large being, potentially part of a civilization existing in another universe.
Yo, imagine we're just a bunch of bacterias in like a person. You wouldn't call it a person, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like somebody that's alive and they're walking around and we're just like planets being molecules or whatever, atoms, I don't know, and we're just like bunch of bacterias in comparison. Shit, man, that's a crazy thought, ain't it?
Universe.
So that's a brain cell, and that's galaxies. And when you look at that, I mean, goddamn, those things look the same. They look the same. Neural network and the cosmic web, they look the same. And if they are the same, if that is what a brain cell is, and that the entire universe is a part of the brain of an infinitely large individual that's a part of a civilization that also exists in another universe, that's a part of an infinitely large being, that's a brain cell of that universe is a brain cell of that thing, and that it just keeps going and going and going and going. And even the idea of the Big Bang is just like, maybe not. Maybe it's always been here. Maybe.
But did you see this one though? If not, guys, click on this video on the screen, because in this one you're gonna get a whole lot. You want some? Well, click on this video and get some, fellas, because the UFOs and the aliens topic that was discussed in this one is equally, if not more fascinating than what you just listened.